Hi there, everybody. It's Thursday evening. It's Region Weather Meteorologist Matt Wentz with a look at your forecast. Boy, you can see the steam coming in. This is my desk humidifier. I'm not let me just shut that off. That's kind of awkward. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good week. I really regret bringing you this forecast because it's been so nice. It's just been so great. And now we're going to change things up. And it's going to be a little bit more November-like around here. Let's be honest, because we've been spoiled. However, the change happens tonight and it happens tomorrow morning. So we're on our waning few hours here of the nice warm weather we've had. So we'll talk about that in the forecast. I want to talk about big picture, kind of how everything's mended together with Hurricane Nicole, which is now a tropical storm, how that's tying into our system now. And I also want to, more importantly, go long range on you and talk about what's going to happen next week. Do we stay cold? Do we warm up? We've got a lot to talk about in terms of that. So we'll get to it here after our intro video on this Thursday evening edition of Region Weather Weekend. And welcome in, everybody, to Oh, hey, Russ, you need me? That's okay. Come on in. It's totally fine.
Good question for you.
Yeah,
Is this live?
It is live. It's
okay.
Hey, say hi to everybody.
Hi,
This is the Russ Mitchell, everybody. Just 1 second. All right.
So, at the top of your first hit,
Yep.
Are you going to do storm and local weather?
Yes. So I'm going to do what's going on with hurricane or tropical storm now, and then what's moving in here. How it's
Okay, so you're going to start with the tropical storm.
Right. Yeah, I'll give the latest on that.
All right. Thanks.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Say bye to Russ, everybody.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, we're good. He is the man, I'll tell you. Russ Mitchell, would you know, he was on CBS Evening News back in the day. He's our big anchor here. So just some questions there. All right, Carl's asking some questions off the top here. Carl, you're coming in hot, asking when our first measurable snowfall will be. It depends on where you are. I think we get our first measurable this weekend with some lake effect. But again, we'll dive into that, and it's not going to be for everybody. I mean, you know how lake effect goes. That's kind of how it is. Jeff, hello. Derek says it's 66 degrees at O'Hare right now. Derek, it has been a warm day all across the region. We had 70s today, way above average. Carl, hello. Thanks for coming in tonight. Gail, thanks for joining us as well. So let's get to it. Briefly, just want to thank our sponsors, as always. Tiger Plumbing, best plumbers in Northwest Indiana you can possibly ever have work on any plumbing needs that you have. It's tigerplumbing.net. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram out of the Valparaiso area. They are big on Jeeps, but they're big on other cars as well. But those Jeeps will get you through the winter. Make sure you pay them a visit if you're in the market for a new Jeep. They're a wonderful family-owned business. And our newest sponsor, which is Discovery Travel, they're local, and they will get you to be not local if you want to travel somewhere. They'll plan everything with your trip that you could possibly need: insurance, flight, hotel, any excursions you want to go on. They'll take care of all of it. So the only thing you have to do is follow an itinerary. Pretty easy, right? So it's Discovery Travel. It's TRVL on Facebook and online. All right, so let's get to your forecast. Here's what we've got weather-wise. Let me share this with you so you can see. Big picture across the country right now. You can see the remnants. This is Tropical Storm Nicole. Probably won't be a tropical storm a whole lot longer. It's losing a lot of those characteristics. This wasn't nearly as big as Ian in terms of strength, but I'll tell you what, it packed a punch in areas of eastern Florida especially. They had about 3 days straight of storm surge coming in because there was a high pressure and a low pressure, and the gradient wind off of that was just pushing the water in. So they already had erosion problems from just the wind not associated with Nicole, associated with a high and a low. But then as this came in, boy, this did some damage. The water coming inland was the biggest thing. The storm surge, the rain wasn't crazy because the system moved in and out today, and it's heading north now. But it packed a punch because Ian did a lot of damage, and this did even more to a lot of those spots. So big time problems for Florida this evening. Notice the clouds heading all the way up into Indianapolis. These will eventually get into our region here, but then off towards the west, there's a sharp cold front. This cold front that you see right here marks the difference between winter, which is on the backside, and our summer-like pattern we've been in on the front side. And then you see the swirling part of the low up in North Dakota. That's where the snow is right now. So let's look at the Earth Cam. This is the Earth Cam out of Lakota, North Dakota. What a place to live. Could be Lakota. I'm not sure. But if it's Lakota, I think it's even better, just because it rhymes. But this is what they're dealing with right now. They've got a lot of snow on the ground, upwards of a foot in spots, expecting another 6 to 10 inches in spots. So they're going to end up with some 18-inch totals or so. I don't know. Given the fact it's been 70 degrees, all of November, it feels like, I just can't picture this. I can't. I can put myself here and say, hey, as long as I have to stay inside, it's kind of pretty. But boy, it's not far off, folks. I just want to say that. It's really not far off. So that's that. All right. So first thing I want to talk about in the near term is, when does this cold arrive? All right. It's still mild. As Derek said, it's 66 at O'Hare right now. So let's take you through the timing of this front. Look at this front. First of all, we go from 70s to 30s, 20s, and teens in a matter of a couple hundred miles. I mean, this is a sharp front. So here it comes. Overnight tonight, we're not going to chill down. I mentioned this morning, especially if you joined us on our radio networks, Adam's radio group set of stations, we were talking about the forecast today in terms of that frontal passage is going to be sometime overnight tonight, and probably more so towards morning rush hour, like 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So temperatures tonight are going to stay mild. We'll probably stay in the mid-50s tonight. Then that front goes by tomorrow morning, and it's not going to be a real sharp drop because it happens in the morning. So we're going to be kind of battling daytime heating with that. So temperature will be 55 for that morning rush hour, and then it'll drop to like 48, and then it'll kind of stay there and then slowly drop back throughout the day. So it's not a sharp drop because we do it in the morning, if that makes sense. So you can see temperatures will go throughout the day. This is a morning, we're in the 40s. See how they kind of hold there? And then eventually by evening, we're dropping back in the 30s. That's really when you're going to feel this. It's going to get cooler tomorrow, and you're going to notice a change by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. But that real noticeable November-like air, you'll feel it, especially tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. That's when we get locked in. And you notice how far south it goes. This cold air goes all the way down to Georgia and Alabama, and it just kind of stays locked in. I mean, we stayed in the 30s and 40s all the way through next week. But again, we'll get into that long-term forecast here in a bit. So I'm going to switch this over briefly so we can go over some snowfall stuff. And then more importantly, I want to take you through the near term because we call this region weather weekend because I want to get you set up for the weekend. All right, we'll focus short term here first. So we have a front coming in. There's a lot of rain with it now. There's even a severe weather threat along areas of Wisconsin down towards the south just because of the amount of shear in the atmosphere. Watch what happens as this moves in, though. Whole thing goes away. All right. So we're not expecting a lot of rain, if any rain, out of this, which is amazing. You can get a strong front like this without rain. Reason why: there's an energy transfer going on. Here come the remnants of Nicole up into the Ohio Valley. That low pressure is going to take over, and the frontal boundary that we have here, all that energy kind of gets sucked into that. So that's why you see here all the rain that we have kind of gets sucked into that, and we don't get much out of it at all. What we do get out of it is a very strong north wind. So once that wind shifts tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. or so, that's when we're just going to stay locked into this wind. So if you have plans tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, it's just getting colder. That's it. We're not expecting anything in terms of widespread precip. Could we get a sprinkle? Maybe. Could we get a flurry tomorrow evening? Maybe. But the bulk of the activity appears to pick up into Saturday. So let me show you that. Winds realigning. Nicole heads up into New England, eventually into Canada. Cold air coming across the lake, but it takes some time. So watch here. This is now Saturday early morning hours. You can see how we have some activity developing along the lakes. Lake effect machine starting to get going. There's going to be this last little ripple of energy that's coming along that frontal boundary to the south. That may bring some snowflakes down to our south. But what we're going to be watching for is the lake effect setup. Could be a mix of some rain and snow on Saturday. We'll likely have temperatures in and around 40 degrees. So it doesn't always matter what the temperature here is at the surface. It matters what it is all the way up. So it can be really, really cold above us in 45 degrees here at the ground, and we can still get snow. But the profile in the atmosphere, we still have temperatures above freezing up to about cloud level, and then that's where the real cold stuff starts. So I could see us on Saturday developing kind of a rain-snow mix to begin with. And this is sheer lake effect that develops Saturday afternoon. All right, as we transition into Saturday night, that's when we start to get some bands developing on Lake Michigan. I think we lose the rain altogether, and it's strictly snow. I don't think it's widespread, but I think we're going to have some decent snow. LaPorte County, Berrien County, Michigan, that's where I would favor the heaviest snow. Porter County, even Lake County, Newton, Jasper County, Stark County, we could all get involved in some of that banding or just general snow shower activity in general. In terms of severity of this lake effect event, how long is it going to last? It's going to last through Sunday. So we've got Saturday night through Sunday with some lake effect ongoing. I don't see it being a big event by any means. This isn't going to be a blockbuster November event because it's going to be over after that. But we could pick up a couple inches out in the snow belt, especially LaPorte and Berrien County. Where do we go from there? Let's talk about that. So I hope you guys can see this okay. So let's go long term. I want to go a little bit bigger picture. Here's the pattern over the next couple days. There's our lake effect machine getting going. This is Sunday. You can see how the Euro model picking up on perhaps some organized activity there in southwest lower Michigan over towards South Bend. Again, we get clipped by that. So I could see some light accumulations, maybe 1, 2, 3 inches or so out in the LaPorte County area. We'll have to see if Porter County gets involved with that. I could see some coating, maybe an inch or two out in Porter County from the system as well. Again, not a big event, but it's going to turn wintry around here. So that ends on Sunday. We bring in drier air. So in terms of your weekend, Sunday's looking better. It's going to be colder Sunday, though. We'll likely stay in the 30s on Sunday and blustery. Next week's interesting, though. There's a system off the Pacific Northwest right now that has two pieces to it. One's going to go into Canada. One's going to go along California down towards Texas. That's what we see coming together here on Tuesday. Here's a southern stream energy. Here's a northern stream energy. Problem in the modeling is you can see how this brings in snow, and this would be some accumulating snow Tuesday into Wednesday. All right. So, that looks ominous, but look at the GFS. This is the American model. It has nothing on us, right? It doesn't phase these two lows. It keeps that southern low separate from the northern low, so we get nothing out of it. And then our ice or tiebreaker, like I like to call it, is the Canadian model, and that keeps them separate too. So I'm hesitant to put snow in the forecast or anything in the forecast on Tuesday until we get some model consensus on this. But the potential is there. If you're a snow lover, let me go back to this real quick, is for some kind of system to look like this coming in, where the two actually phase together and we have this widespread area of snow, which in that case would accumulate on Tuesday. So I'm going to hold off on calling on that. All right. We might have a better idea tomorrow, probably even better idea on Saturday once we're, 2-3 days out in terms of how that'll go. But the consensus behind that is whatever system that is and whatever it does heads east, and we wrap in even colder air behind that. And it looks to be a decent stretch of perhaps some decent accumulating lake effect snow. This would be a week from today into the following weekend. So you can see here on the Euro, this low goes by with just cold air. It kind of pulls it in from Canada again. We get the lake effect machine going Thursday into Friday and potentially into Saturday as well. Depends on how quickly we clear out. And the Canadian model kind of agrees with that. You can see how it has this go by. And yeah, there's lake effect. Most of that's in Michigan actually on this model. But certainly an active pattern. And I'll show you the GFS because GFS is interesting. It goes out a little bit longer. It brings some kind of snowstorm up through Indianapolis next Friday and Saturday. It brings another storm, I think, after that. No, I guess it doesn't on this latest run. The 12Z had it. But anyway, model consensus isn't great next week. We're just going to say that. But there's a potential that we do bring in some colder air later next week. That'd be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that's the way it looks for right now. Okay. So again, I hope that information is helpful to you. If you guys have questions, go ahead, shoot them in the chat right now. I'll answer those and then we'll get you out of the way here on this Thursday evening. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed your week. I hope you've just cherished this beautiful weather that we've had. We needed it. It's a great start to November. And more importantly, in my mind, it's a wonderful start to this time change, right? Because we're all tired after it. The sun sets so early now. And if we didn't have weather like this, I think it'd be a little bit more miserable, but it's been a wonderful week. And I hope you guys are experiencing that as well. Okay, let me get caught up in your comments here. Danielle, I'm glad you could catch us too tonight. Mike, you're welcome. Deanna or Diana, hello. Thank you. Dee, hello. Let's see. Debbie says, good evening. Was looking at blizzard footage north of I-94. Yeah, we had it on our little Earth Cam pulled up here. It's a storm up there. I mean, welcome to November, North Dakota, right? Diane, I'm glad you enjoyed your day today, for sure. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. Justin, you too. Thanks for sending stars. I appreciate that. Never required, but certainly it goes a long way. Alexis, okay, here's our first question. Alexis says, I'm driving from here to Missouri next Thursday, returning on Sunday. Thanks for helping us stay up to date. Not really a question, but Alexis, you're getting a free forecast. So next Thursday, returning Sunday. I tend to rely on the Euro, but again, the model consensus, as we talked about, isn't great. But let's look at your drive here. So here's next Thursday. We've got cold air perhaps spilling in. Your drive would be just fine going down. Might have some lake effect here, maybe. Again, that could change. And then driving back next Sunday. Next Sunday looks okay. It looks nice and dry. However, I think the GFS had a snowstorm, but we're going to ignore that. But it doesn't look too bad. There's no guaranteed storms. Doesn't look too crazy there. Oh, Maxwell asks a tough question. You think we're done with the 60s and 70s the rest of the year? I don't think so. I think we've got another 60-degree day in us. We'll probably have, a 60-degree day out ahead of some kind of strong cold front that comes in, where maybe we get like a 50-degree day and then we bump up in the mid-60s and then the bottom falls out back to the 20s and 30s again. So I don't think we're done with 60s. I do think that we're done with, I would guess we're done with 70s for the year. It's really tough to hit 70 degrees this time of year with a low sun angle. There's just no energy coming from our sun. So it takes a lot to heat us up. We have to have a very strong wind blowing in from areas that can warm up to that. So we'd have to have probably a 20, 30 mile per hour wind coming from Texas or somewhere down south out ahead of a cold front for sure. Alexis, no problem. Yeah, we'll keep you updated for sure. Yeah, Diana, it's going to be cold. It's going to be November-like, so we'll see. Allison got new tires. Nice, Allison. That's always a big deal. They're really loud behind me. The newsroom's very excited tonight. I think election day is like the Super Bowl in newsrooms. Everyone just works their butt off and up till midnight, just to get the latest numbers, all that stuff. We had that. The time changed this week. I've been so tired today. I don't know. I know why. It's because of all that, but it's been a big week for news people in terms of like hours. So I don't know why they're so excited. I like the energy though. It's good. Maxwell says, could we go back into a drought if the ground freezes? Yeah, that's interesting, Max. We need the rain, that's for sure. We're not going to get it with this system. If the ground freezes, it slows. In the wintertime, we don't have a lot of evaporation coming out of the ground. So drought conditions tend to not get a whole lot worse in the winter. It's the spring, fall, and summer that we rely on that rainfall to soak down into our water tables. I don't think it's going to get much worse. And the reason why I say that, because we have a totally different pattern this time of year where you can get these big systems that pull in Gulf of Mexico moisture. They can dump a lot of snow. They can also bring a lot of rain, but we tend to get pretty wet this time of year. As of right now, there's no big Gulf systems coming in here, but our ground doesn't need as much rain right now. Whether it freezes or not, it's not relying on that. The plants, the foliage really don't need much either. This is the time of year that we build that water table up. And, any storm system is pretty much a bonus this time of year. So, I don't think we're out of the drought yet. We're not. Much of the Midwest isn't. But is it going to get much worse? Is this going to be a big topic of discussion into the winter? I don't think so locally. Now, if we're still dealing with the same drought conditions come spring, February, March, when we start to get into growing season, that's a different concern. But we have a long winter to make up that drought for sure. Yeah, no problem, buddy, for sure. Okay, everybody. Well, I think that's it. Again, I appreciate you joining me. I just hope this is helpful. I really do. I don't want to ever waste your time. I want to let you know what's happening, not just this weekend, but there's a lot going on weather-wise, not just now, but over the next 10, 15 days or so. And as always, I'd like to give you a nice first look at that. Okay. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Sunday night, Region Weather Live is going to be our next hit. I'm really excited. We got some flooring in the Region Weather Center, aka in the basement at the house. So I set up my studio last night. It's very cozy. It's nice. So I'm excited to share that with you. It's not going to look much different, but trust me, it's going to be different. So that's exciting. So I can't wait to join you guys on Sunday. Till then, we'll have updates, not just here, but on regionweather.com. Oh, that's the other thing I want to mention just real quick. Regionweather.com, if on Facebook, right, I post something and you might see it 3 days later because they determine with the algorithm what goes where. If you want the weather graphic that we put out every single morning, in your inbox, like email inbox. It's there, and it'll have a little write-up, and it's wonderful. And I mean, I even like it. And I hate spam and stuff like that. It's not spam. It's just a weather update local for you every single morning. It's something I handcraft and write. It's a graphic I hand make, all that stuff. So that being said, on regionweather.com, we have them posted there every single day as well. But you can sign up to receive an email update every time we post. And we only post like once or twice a day on there. So you're not going to get spammed. But I think it's kind of a nice thing because I get up early to do that, where you wake up in the morning, you have your email with the region weather forecast for the day or whatever the big story is, read it real quick and you're done, and you've got all the weather info you need. And it's not from a computer, it's from a person. So again, you can sign up for email updates on regionweather.com. You'll see that on there. It'll say subscribe, I think, or something like that. And that way you don't have to rely on Facebook to show you when there's going to be a tornado outbreak 10 days later. Okay. So kind of cool. All right. Justin, thank you for the kind words. Absolutely. I appreciate that. And Diane, thanks for the feedback. I appreciate that as well. All right. Love you guys. Have a wonderful night. We'll talk to you soon. Okay. All right. Bye-bye.